This is Florida. I don't know if you guys have heard anything, but we've had a lot of flooding around here. Matter of fact, Fort Lauderdale and other communities across southern Florida are working to get life back to normal after we got monumental flooding, and it wreaked havoc in the area, closing transportation hubs, schools, and government offices. During the peak of Wednesday's torrential barrages, that means a lot of rain, a month's worth of rain fell in just 1 hour, not one day, 1 hour. Many of Fort Lauderdale streets turned into lakes when the rain was exceeding 2 feet, inundated the coastal city. 2 feet of rain in 1 hour. Fort Lauderdale Fire Rescue Crews, that can't be right, 2 feet. Fort Lauderdale Fire Rescue Crews on Thursday handled another 250 calls for help, on top of the original 900 calls they received during the flooding on Wednesday. Thankfully, there have been no deaths. There was a report of two firefighters sustaining minor injuries after they were shocked by electrical wire. Youch! But they are okay. As floodwaters receded on Friday, first responders are still conducting wellness checks and assisting residents in need of shelter. This is the second most catastrophic flooding event in history, surpassed only by Hurricane Ian in the last 33 years. The flooding shut down the Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport for about 40 hours. It reopened this morning. Surrounding areas were also lashed with well above a foot of rain, leading to rapid flooding that trapped residents, made driving miserable, and frustrated travelers who could not leave the airport. How horrible would that be to have to stay in the airport overnight? What we're seeing is individuals in need of assistance. There's really at this point no life safety issues that are out there, just individuals become overwhelmed with what has taken place and need assistance to escape flooded areas or homes. We've crews on the ground that are out there meeting with those that are in need, bringing them to a point where they can get some food and some water, and then send them to a shelter where they can get some fresh clothes and sleep. There was a head count of 32 people in shelters on Thursday night. The flooding impact also prompted Broward County Public Schools to cancel classes. I'm sure the kids like that for the second consecutive days. In addition to responding to hundreds of rescue calls, crews throughout the Fort Lauderdale metro area have been working to clear drains, deploy pumps where possible, and help alleviate the effects of the flooding. Florida saw that's crazy. Saw more than a foot of rain accumulate in areas that have been experiencing consecutive days of seemingly nonstop rain. The ground was already saturated, so there's extensive flooding all over and all throughout southern Florida. Many roadways are impassable. Lots of vehicles get stuck and left abandoned in the middle of our roadways. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has issued a state of emergency for Broward County to provide additional resources to crews and residents on the ground. Way to go, Governor. Jeremy Ennis, who said he has been working in Fort Lauderdale for 23 years, was stuck on a city road in his car as water levels remained high. Never have I seen anything like this, ever. I've never seen this volume of water. And I've seen Hurricane Katrina. I've seen many more hurricanes. Whoa, that's a lot. A few scattered thunderstorms are expected Friday and could bring localized flooding. The threat is not expected to be widespread. For this weekend, Saturday looks dry with a few scattered storms on Sunday. We don't need any more rain. Fort Lauderdale has about 200,000 people. They saw 25.91 inches of precipitation in a 24-hour period between Wednesday and Thursday. The deepest standing water on Thursday was in the Edgewood neighborhood just north of Fort Lauderdale, where a still water mark of just over 3 feet was measured near Floyd Hole Stadium. You know what you got to be worried about down in Florida? Alligators. Other surrounding areas, including Hollywood, Dania Beach, and Lauderdale Lakes, collected between 12 and 18 inches of rain in the same 24-hour period. This amount of rain in a 24-hour period is incredibly rare for South Florida. A high-end hurricane would typically dump rainfall of 20 to 25 inches or more over more than a day. They got it, and we got it in one day. During the peak on Wednesday, the torrential barrages, a month's worth of rain fell in just 1 hour. Fort Lauderdale's average rainfall for April is 3 inches, and it's been nearly 25 years since the city told 20 inches of rain in the entire month, and they got that in 24 hours. That's why it will take time for the water to drain. Because the extreme amount of water, most areas will need to drain naturally. Crews are out in the neighborhood, clean storm drains to help get the water received. There's been vacuum trucks being deployed throughout the city to help suck up some of the water and transport it elsewhere. There is not one area of the city that has not been impacted in Fort Lauderdale. So, everybody's watching this, pray for Fort Lauderdale and the rest of my state, Florida, that we can recover from these torrential rain. Don't forget to subscribe to Minnesota and Oregon. And thanks everybody for watching. Bye.